For sure, AI will eliminate like some things that were like very base level. To a degree, it's very, very helpful. The biggest thing that you won't just, I just can't see anything replacing is like the creativity, right? The creativity. Like, you can't beat, in my opinion, like, I haven't seen anything beat a human being's creativity in terms of being able to come up with an idea, right? And making that idea come into fruition via a piece of copy or a piece of a design or a piece of a strategic element.
Absolutely. Like I said, when I first, seen AI, honestly, I questioned my, my existence because it's pretty scary stuff. But later on, I realized that AI, having AI do all these, like you said, like base level stuff, frees up the capacity of a human beings to take on more advanced level work. I think that's how I kind of understood it.
All right, guys. I'm very, very excited for this episode. In today's episode, we're going to be diving into how we're utilizing AI via the design department here at Spring Media. So, designing all kinds of emails for e commerce brands, how we're leveraging AI. And here I have Pwek, our head of design, who's going to be covering and talking all about that. So, Pwek, before I hand it over to you, what are your thoughts overall just on AI in the e-commerce space specifically from a design standpoint?
Not gonna lie, AI is scary. Just kidding. It is. I mean, it's scary how fast it has evolved. I remember the first time that I heard about AI. I think that was just a little over a year ago. Hearing about Midjourney, and back then when I was testing it out, it was like pretty raw, like it when you generate images, it's not very complex and whatnot, or like it's still very like the fingers when you generate images of like human beings, the it still looks really wonky. And now like it's just it's exponentially improved, and it's growing so fast. On the ecom space, however, it's still in the early stages. There's a lot of things, there's a lot of use cases for AI in e-commerce. You can use it to generate product images, you can use it for generating ideas or brainstorming, but I think it's still in the early stages. And I'm scared, but I'm also looking forward to seeing how it's gonna evolve in the future and how it's gonna change the game. So yeah, basically.
Yeah, no, I think very well said. I think the key concept that I've been researching and studying just with AI and from what I've been hearing is that people are afraid that, oh, like AI is going to take over design completely, or it's going to take over copy, or it's going to take over like all these jobs and all these responsibilities, so on and so forth. I don't know what the future holds, but all I do know is for now, the where AI is in its current stage is it's just a tool for efficiency, right? That like you can
Mm.
leverage it as a tool. You shouldn't be solely dependent on AI to design all your emails or to do all your copy, right? Because each brand, each person has a very specific way of speaking or has a very specific look to the brand or to the person, whatever the case may be. I see AI as basically like an editor or for ideas, or it can render, for example, if a brand specifically doesn't have that many assets, well, we can plug in something to get further assets or further build out their asset library, leveraging tools like AI, right? So, obviously, our AI design tool of choice is Midjourney. I know you have a presentation like all prepped up for that. So, why don't we transition into that? And see how we're utilizing Midjourney AI specifically for our brand partners.
All right, let's dive in. I'm actually very excited about this. We've been talking about this for like quite some time now, and I'm stoked that we are able to do this now.
I still remember the rollout too. Like the we were so unsure. I was like, "Hey, Pwek, like, can you look into this? Can we utilize this? Like, how does Midjourney work?" I see a lot of other
Yeah.
people leveraging it, and then once I really understood the application behind this, and once we were able to figure out how to use this, I think it's made our process a lot more efficient. So hopefully, we can help shed some light on how this can be helpful.
Yeah, when you first reached out to me about like how we're gonna leverage AI in terms of email design, I was looking for resources online, and there's not a lot of resources online on how to utilize AI or like Midjourney per se in email. So I think we've got like we've ever since, we've done a lot of research, we've done a lot of trial and error within our design team, and what we're sharing now, this is like exactly how we use it. These are like the use cases that we've been using AI, and we've been leveraging this technology a lot, especially for certain brands. So, and we're gonna dive deep into that and share this
Yeah,
to
let's
everyone
do it.
who's listening to the podcast. Okay, today we're talking about using Midjourney for email design. So, for those who aren't familiar, Midjourney is an example of generative AI that can convert natural language prompts into images. So basically, you type in whatever it is that you're needing, or whatever image that you want, and then basically generates like all these really cool stuff, or like all these images for you. So if you want to learn more about Midjourney, you can go to www.midjourney.com. There's a lot of information on there. You can they have step by step process on how to set that up, but you do need to have a Discord account in order for you to harness this powerful tool. So you use Discord to basically input your prompts, and yeah, so yeah, all the information that you need to get that set up is on their website. All right. But right now, there's a lot of use cases for AI. A lot of there are illustrators who use it. There are some people who use it for ad designs, and there's just like a bunch of applications. But for today, we are focusing entirely on how we use it in terms of, in building out emails, or how we use it in the e-commerce space, specifically email design. Based on our experience, using this tool for several months now, we found that it's great for these three major things. So the first one is it's great for ideation. It's great for brainstorming, basically. Normally, when we ideate, or when we kind of brainstorm ideas for emails, we go to Dribble, we go to Pinterest, we go to really good emails, Mailed, all these good stuff. But even then, you can exhaust that if you are working on emails like all every day, and like working especially for a brand, creating campaigns for them regularly. You will run out. You will run out of like stuff, like inspiration. You will run out because you just exhaust it, if you're doing it on a daily basis. But with Midjourney, it's an infinite pool basically of ideas, and I think that's what it, for email design, it really helps us kind of um, not just generate ideas, but basically draw. It's a place where we can draw inspiration from. So it's not like it's gonna let you know, like, okay, this is how you're gonna exactly design your email, but it's gonna help you kind of, so this is an approach that you can take, or for this section you can do something like this. And yeah, I'll show that. I'll show that in a bit. But it's great for ideation. It's great for brainstorming. I use it as a brainstorming partner all the time. It's also great for generating image assets. So, not all of our clients have a vast library of creative assets. Some of them just have a couple of product images or product renders. Some of them is just like a couple of lifestyle images. So, Midjourney is a great tool for expanding that into like X times infinity. And so we do that a lot for certain accounts that we currently handle. And it's been an excellent tool in just like generating unlimited assets for that particular brand. All designers will agree with this. It is a nightmare creating continuously email designs without a vast asset library. It's just, you're just gonna run out. You run out of stuff that you're gonna use for your heroes, for your product blocks, for your texture sections. You're just gonna run out. So this has been a game changer in that aspect. And the third one, which is I feel is one of the most important one, it is amazing in creating hero images. So hero images we've discussed on our previous episode. This is the most important part of any email. So the hero image, just for like quick recap, is the first thing that you see when you open up an email. So it's basically the area above the fold. So hero image, the job of the hero image is to capture the attention of the viewer within 6 seconds, right? So it has to have an image or an imagery, captivating image, like because you need to capture the attention of the reader. You need to be able to pique their curiosity during that 6 second window. So Midjourney is excellent in like creating these eye catching images for your heroes. And again, later on we will have an example for that and how we build that out. So all right, let's dive in. So
Dive in. So
before we proceed to like the meat of this presentation, it is important to note that when using AI and Midjourney specifically, like these are the things that you have to bear in mind when you build out your prompts. So the first thing is you have to be detailed and specific. So the more detailed and the more specific you are in instructing Midjourney, it's the better. We must remember that Midjourney is not a human being. It is a computer. It is a it is a tool. It is a robot. It's not gonna predict what you're thinking. So you have to be able to be good at letting it know what you want. So be detailed and be specific. Second is avoid being subjective. So try to avoid like adjectives, like for example, pretty or nice, stuff like that. You have to be able to describe exactly what pretty means or what nice means. So just avoid being subjective as much as you can. And the third is research. This tool evolves very quickly, so like there are always like new stuff that's being published and all that. So just continuously research. There's a lot of resources online on like how to generate prompts and all that. So just have that like habit of like um, researching basically. So if you're not sure of something, you can always Google it. And then the best part of like Midjourney is also its community. When you log into Discord, there's going to be a community on there. You can ask questions. You can see how other users are using the tool. So just be aware of that and uh, do your research. And the last one is trial and error. So there's a lot of trial and error that goes into this. The only way for you to be able to learn how to communicate with this tool is for you to test it out and like iterate and see like how you can tweak your prompts to match like what it is that you want from it. So if that makes sense, so it's a lot of trial and error. Like everything that we've learned and
every.
everything that I'm going to share in this presentation
Mhm.
is a product of a lot of trial and error. Yeah. Have you tried Midjourney? Just out
I
of curiosity.
have not. I have not.
All
I
right.
I play around with ChatGPT a good amount, but not Midjourney. No.
Yeah. It's insane. Anyway, okay, so we're gonna dive into each of these real quickly. So the first one is ideation. Like I mentioned, it's really like a great brainstorming partner. When we say ideation, it's basically generating ideas, and having this tool has been very instrumental. If you encounter, there comes a time in when you're building out designs, especially if you're doing it on a daily basis, that you're going to encounter creative blocks. That's inevitable. That happens to the best of us. So having this tool just like helps you kind of move out of that creative block, right? So this is how we use it. For this particular example, this is for a brand that we have on Spring Media. It's for an account that we have in Spring Media. It's called Amarose. So it's a beauty brand. It's a skincare brand. This particular account doesn't have like a vast asset library. We have very limited images for these. The only images that we have is basically product renders on a white background, and then some lifestyle images, but not a lot. So we crank out 3 to 5 emails for them every week. So, this has been very helpful for us. Okay, so normally for ideation, I start off with this prompt. So email design for X brand, email design for skincare brand, light pink, minimalist, and then I add this little extension, double dash V space 5.2. So the most recent version of Midjourney is actually version 6, but I found that for in terms of UI UX stuff, or like stuff that we need for email design, it's not there yet. Like it renders, like when I input this brand, it renders like an entire computer screen, which is not ideal. I think 5.2 for now works best. So email design for skincare brand, light pink, minimalist, and it comes up with these. So for example, for me, if I'm like just running out of ideas and looking at this, like I would say like, ooh, like this is really cool. Like I like this little circular image, render behind these products. That's definitely something that we could use. Like this little smear, like light pink smear of like sort of a skincare product. That's really cool. That's very interesting. That's something that I didn't think of. This one in particular is not UI UX design per se, but it could be a potential, direction for a hero. I also like these little flower details at the back. So like these are very good starting points. So just because of this, like I already have a bunch of ideas in my head. So that's why I said that it's very good for ideation. Now, Midjourney is not very good at recognizing email design per se. I think because email design is not a very popular branch of design just yet. So normally it would like crank out landing pages, which is totally fine because the way we design our emails is like we're like designing landing pages. So you just have to, as a designer, you just have to take that idea and incorporate it to email basically. But it's not very good with recognizing email design per se. So don't expect it to create the email design for you. Okay, here's another prompt, landing page. So instead of using email design, I use landing page since you can't recognize email design anyway. So I use landing page for mobile, for mobile, just in case it's going to create like a mobile version of a landing page. That would be more helpful. For a skincare brand, light pink, minimalist, double dash version 5.2. So again, lots of interesting stuff, like a serum texture at the back, lots of cherry blossoms, which is, something that we use for amarose, honestly, because of the word amarose. We use rose petals once in a while. Um, Lots of nice details on here. Here's another image that it generated using the same prompt. So as you can see, even just using the same prompt is just going to generate a different image each and every time, which is incredible.
One thing I want to add real quick. If you go back to the previous slide, like it's very interesting, right? Like it looks appealing. You know what I'm saying? Like when you type this in, the landing page itself looks appealing, but like Midjourney is not advanced enough to know what converts, right? They're just populating
Yeah.
a nice looking design, right? For example, like I look at this and then I look at like some of our brands or like the high, like top tier brands, like what they're doing in terms of conversions. Like there's so much missing, and this is something I want to touch. I was gonna wait to ask you this, but I just think it just keeps coming up right now, and I want to touch on this real quick. Is why should, because I feel like brand owners or people or even fellow designers might be ask themselves, or people might just be asking themselves this question is like, why don't I just use like Midjourney, period, and like not even like have to do like minimal editing for designs? Why should you just be using this as a tool just to get ideas from versus just getting the prompt and then copy pasting that in an email? Talk to me a little bit from a designer's perspective, like why that's so important.
Okay, so you still need that human touch. I think that's it. Because, for example, Midjourney is great in like generating ideas and all these. Like you can see it here. Like it's just visually, it's like visually balanced. Everything is like the contrast is really good. And it's a beautiful design. But as you can see, there's not a lot of CTAs on the hero. The call to actions are not very clear, so these are things that Midjourney cannot interpret just yet, at least not now, and not currently.
Yeah,
So you still need a designer's eye to be able to create a design that actually converts. um
yeah.
yeah, for example, this one, yeah, it's beautiful, but there's no button on there. So like,
Yeah. Like even I was just thinking in terms of someone who's like ultimate laziness would be like let me or like ultimate like lack of
mm,
care would be like let me just go to ChatGPT and get the copy and then let me just go to Midjourney and get the design and let me just plug those and play them and see how it does, right? But like I in my opinion that's a recipe for disaster because like again these are
mm,
just tools, right? In my opinion it's like okay, if you use ChatGPT for the copy, well, let's go in there and edit it. What is this certain brand tonality? Like ChatGPT can't get that down to the T, right? So it's like using that, editing it, getting it right. And then Midjourney, similar concept, right? Like it's the
yeah.
same concept. It's AI and it's versus the actual skill set that it takes to design really, really good emails. What makes them convert, right? Midjourney doesn't know what makes them convert. Midjourney won't know their
Mm.
exact colors to the T or which images to use or what exactly we're looking for. So that makes sense. Appreciate you clarifying that.
Yeah, absolutely. On that note as well, Midjourney, like you said, Midjourney doesn't know what converts. Midjourney doesn't know what works for the brand that you're doing that design for. Midjourney doesn't know the strategy behind your email strategy. Basically, doesn't
Mm,
know what there's a lot of things that it doesn't know. It only knows that,
right.
these are like good examples of designs based on the stuff that it grabs from the internet. But basically, each brand is whatever we do for each brand, it's unique. There's a
Mm,
strategy behind it. There's a reason why, like this particular email is like a blog feature. There's a reason why this email is a product feature because it's all part of like a overall strategy, right? So Midjourney doesn't know
right.
that, and there's just no way for you to tell Midjourney like, okay, this is our strategy, create a design for me. So there's just no way for
Right.
that. So you have, yep, that is a recipe for disaster, and I think that's a very important to note that it's easy for a designer to just kind of, let's like have Midjourney do all the grunt work, and we can just copy it exactly. So that's be very careful with that. These things, these AI stuff, these are tools. These are tools, but you are the strategist, you are the creative director, you are, as a designer, you are the creative director. You're the one who's going to be should be making these decisions because you're the one who's strategizing for that particular brand. And
Right.
Midjourney is your assistant. So
Mm,
yeah,
I
that's
love that.
that's a very good question, and I'm glad that you raised that. We have nothing to worry about. We're not gonna get we're not gonna get replaced by things, at least
Yeah, no,
for
I'm sure.
now.
Like, I mean, you know, when AI rolled out, I was like, I feel like it was like a wave of like excitement, but also fear. Like, I remember the news
Yeah.
just like blasting this like crazy, like, oh, this many jobs are going to be eliminated, et cetera, et cetera. And like, yeah, like for sure, AI will eliminate like some things that were like very base level to a degree. It's very, very helpful, right? But like,
Yep.
the biggest thing that you won't just I just can't see anything replacing is like the person to person touch that you have, right? The human touch, like the element,
Mm,
the catering toward, the service, the creativity, right? The creativity, like you can't beat, in my opinion, like I haven't seen anything beat a human being's creativity in terms of being able to come up with an idea, right? And making that idea come into fruition via a piece of copy or a piece of a design or a piece of a strategic element. So I think that was a great point to touch on.
absolutely. Like I said, when I first, seen AI, and just like the capability, honestly, I questioned my existence because, it's pretty scary stuff. But later on, I realized that AI, having AI do all these, like you said, like base level stuff, frees up frees up the capacity of a human beings to take on more advanced level work. Is that what is I think that's how I kind of understood it, and yeah, so like designers in the future, I feel like they're gonna be creative directors, like they're gonna be
Right.
just
Yeah.
this AI stuff, man. You can talk about all day about these things.
All day, literally.
Yeah. All right, cool. So, yeah, here's another prompt. Website design for skincare brand. I added UI UX design. Again, for email design, we incorporate a lot of UI UX elements because UI UX means user interface. in user experience, which I feel that's how emails should be. We have to have that in mind. So I think, inputting that on the prompt like helps you kind of generate ideas that are UI UX related, and also incorporates the UI UX best practices. So you can insert that phrase in your prompt, and then minimalist typing website. So again, it generates like lots of beautiful stuff. Like this hero, I love this. I would use this for an email someday. Like these are really nice texture elements. So again, it's a great tool for ideation. For sure. Next is we use Midjourney for generating image assets. Okay, so before I dive into that, first I want to show you based on these prompts that we created. I actually designed an email to show you guys how we go from like the inspiration to and how we incorporate that to the actual email design. So this particular image, I grabbed this and use this for the hero right here. So here we didn't use Midjourney to create like this exact thing, because Midjourney is not doesn't do a good job like creating it exactly how you want it. It's not. It doesn't do a good job in generating text. So as you can see here, like the texts are gibberish. So you have to do that yourself. So we designed this from scratch. We designed this using Photoshop and Figma. Upon building this email, we needed other image assets. So we needed like assets to showcase all the different vitamins, and we use Midjourney for this as well. And down here, we also this one is also generated using Midjourney. So going back, generating image assets. So in generating those assets, these are the prompts that we use. So translucent liquids, smear on light pink surface, minimalist, soft lighting, white background, the same prompt, and then the same prompts. It just generated like all these different things, and that's what we use for here. So I feel like these prompts are really good for skincare brands, anything that has like a bit of science behind it. Yeah, we use this a lot, quite a lot, for Amaros.
Yeah, it adds such a nice touch. Like just looking at that email, it adds a very, very nice touch to the overall email.
Yeah. So another image that we generated for this particular email is like this little droplet. So um what we use for the prompt is serum droplet, light pink, minimalist, soft lighting, white background. It generated like a couple of droplets, but this one looked the best, so we used this one, and then we did a little bit of masking in Photoshop, and then added onto Figma, and ended up with this. So yep, for a brand that doesn't have a lot of image assets, we were able to create something like very dynamic, something very unique as well, but also very representative of the brand. And yeah, imagine like if without Midjourney, I wouldn't have thought of this hero. I wouldn't have been able to generate these assets or this one. So it's a very very useful tool. So the last thing that we use Midjourney with is hero images. Hero images, based on our last podcast, we talked more about this on our last episode, but it's basically, like I said, it's the most important real estate of your email, right? So it has to be able to capture attention. And Midjourney does an excellent job in doing this. But it's important to note that Midjourney cannot do it all for you. Like, do not expect Midjourney to create the entire hero image for you. It's just impossible because you have specific brands, you have specific products, and Midjourney cannot generate those products basically. So you have to be able to create the composition in Midjourney, but still kind of refine it and do a little bit of photo manipulation in order for you to incorporate the actual product on there. So for hero images, this is our go-to formula. So a lot of trial and error, but this is the formula that that has been very helpful for us. Again, you can always tweak it, it doesn't, you don't necessarily have to include all of these, but it's a good starting point. Like if you don't know how to kind of how to begin with your prompt, like this is a good starting point for you. So the go to formula is first you put the main subject, whatever it is, whether it's a skincare product, a supplement brand, a jewelry brand, you put in as a main subject, and then next you put in the background. So you have to describe the background, and then next like what the color scheme is, and then next is the type of photography, and then next is the image style slash mood slash theme. Next, the camera settings, and then lighting, and then you can add additional prompts. So it looks pretty intense, but again, we found that Midjourney does a good job if you're very specific. So that's why we did like a lot of trial and error, a lot of research, what type of cameras. It did help that I had a little bit of background in photography, but if you even if you don't, you can Google it online. So that's why this formula works best because it's just like intensely specific. So I will show you some examples or for each of these prompts. So for the main subject, again, really up to the brand that you're working on. So supplement pouch, skincare product, whether it's a bottle, hair care product, yeah, that's pretty self-explanatory. Second is the
Mm.
background. So, for example, for a supplement brand, it could be a gym setting background, or it could be a studio background. It could be a poolside setting, or it could be like water is approaching, intense fire. So, describe the background of the scene. Next is the color or motif. Each brand has a color palette, right? So if you don't put in the color or motif, it's gonna create something, but it's gonna be totally different from what the brand guidelines are. So that's why it's important to put that in. So could be light pink, blue, dark green. So that again is very straightforward. So you can also add like these, like for example triadic color, like these are color theories basically for graphic design. It's a color wheel thing. I'm not gonna dive deep into that because that's a different topic altogether. But you can always Google color wheel or like best color combinations for graphic design. You can Google that, and then you can even use complementary, monotone, all that stuff. So the more specific you are, the better. We also add in sometimes like color grading or color processing. Like we found that using this prompt adds a certain level of professionalism to the final output. So again, trial and error. Next is type of photography. So these are the ones that work best for us: product photography, stock photo, commercial photography, shot on shot on a certain camera, um, high speed photography, and macro photography. So I have a little link here. I don't know if you can put this on the description, but basically,
Mm.
this link leads to an article that says like best camera for product photography. Because if you use that, like for example, if it's a Sony A7R2 or like a Hasselblad camera, it just significantly improves the quality of the image. So next is image style
Okay.
slash mood slash theme. So it could be minimalist aesthetic, moody, gritty, feminine, modern, sleek. So like basically just the mood of the image that you want. Next is camera settings. So this one is like a little geeky, but like these, we will spare you the research. These work the best. Shot on like 100 mm, 120 mm, 200 mm, shutter speed 1 over 100. So this particular prompt is best especially for images with like water splashes, like very high speed photography, or if you're like have a floating product, like this
Right.
helps a lot. Also the aperture f22 makes the images like super sharp, 32K super resolution. So these are useful prompts that we like to use. Next is lighting. So you have to be able to describe the lighting of the scene. Morning light, backlight, studio light, dramatic lighting, spotlight, soft warm lighting. Again, you can always Google, types of lighting for product photography. And additional prompts, these are just extra prompts that we add in to explore like different treatments. So for example, you can start without having the additional prompts and see if like you find an image that works for you. Or if you've used all these and then you don't like something, you can add one of these, and it's just gonna create like a new batch of like really good images. So high resolution, insanely detailed, fine details, award-winning photography, clean, sharp focus, magazine ad photography. So these examples have helped us generate really good stuff for our hero images. So now, like we can do an exercise. We can start with.
Let's
I
do
will
it.
let you. I will let you decide, Eric, on like what prompts.
Okay, so there's a brand. It's Drake's brand. It's OVO, October's very own. But like, just for the sake of it, I just want to see how it come out. So let's
One sec.
do as the yeah.
I'm
If you want to
gonna
pull it up, it's like
reshare my screen so I can show you the my Discord as well. Okay,
okay.
cool.
So I start with background, right? Or
Main
the main
subject.
subject. Main subject. Okay. Main subject. Let's do a hoodie. This is the main subject. A hoodie with like an owl on it or something.
All right. Next is hoodie for apparel brand. Let's just do for apparel brand. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So background. Let's do like the. I just want to see how far this can go. Let's do the CN Tower in Toronto.
Sorry. How do you
The
spell
it's
it?
it's called it's just CN Tower.
Okay. CN Tower.
I'm so curious how it's gonna come out.
Let's see. Next is color or motive.
So that's like the actual color of the subject.
Not necessarily the subject, but it's gonna be like the overall kind of color theme,
Okay,
color scheme of
let's,
the image.
let's do black and gold.
Black and gold. Type of photography.
Let's do like a product photo.
Okay. Image style, mood, or theme.
Modern and sleek. Let's see how that comes out.
Okay. Camera settings.
I actually don't know. I'm curious. What would you recommend on this one for something like this?
I would do 32K, super resolution. And I would do like shot on. Um, Actually, none of these. I would I would try 35 mm.
Okay.
Let's see how that looks. Lighting.
Let's do a spotlight. See how it looks.
Okay, and then
I have no design experience, by the way, zero. So I'm very curious to see how this comes out.
okay, and then last
um,
one, additional prompts.
clean, sharp focus.
Clean, sharp, focus. All right, maybe we can add magazine ad photography or award-winning photography. Let's see how that's
Yeah.
done. Okay. All right, so we're gonna add in version 5.2 and then AR 9 by 16. And the reason why we use AR 9 by 16, that is the aspect ratio, right? So it's gonna make a vertical image instead of like a 9 by 16 aspect ratio, which is best for emails. So
Okay.
right, let's see. So basically, that's what you
See the
do.
drum
You
roll.
just like wait for it. It takes a bit of it takes a while for it to create, but it initially
Okay.
is gonna create like four different images. Nice, and that's done. So this is the first batch of not bad. Okay.
Not bad at all. That's actually pretty cool. I can't even lie. Let's go pretty
That's
hard.
this the CN Tower. Is this how it looks?
Yeah, it's in Toronto. I'm from. I was born in Toronto, so
Hmm.
that's the first
Nice.
thing that came to mind. Yeah.
Yep. So
No,
that's
it's
it.
not bad, but I could see why. Like, I could also see why it's still like this looks good, but I would
Hmm.
never put this like straight on an email. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's so
Yeah.
much touch you could still do, and I think this is a perfect example. It might not be the best example, but it's a good enough example of why any designer out there or brand owner out there should not just solely be relying on Midjourney. Like, you use this for inspiration, then you take it back to Figma or Photoshop or whatever. play around with it, have your team play around with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, work on a little bit further and then put something up. But however, this got my creative juices flowing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm already
Yeah.
starting to be like, oh, okay, there's so much more we could do with this. So I understand the context of how this is being used now, which is cool.
Yeah. It's not gonna build the email for you for sure. But yes, it's a
Yeah.
good jump off point, and it helps you kind of generate different assets where you can composite together. So it's not gonna build the
Mm,
email for you, but it's gonna help you. It's gonna help you with like all these different elements that you need in order for you to create like a good email. So like for me, for
right.
example, like, starting here, you can tweak your prompt. You tweak it, like for example, maybe add a human being on there, or or maybe have it like on a different post. You can have it post differently, so it's still kind of like a trial and error thing, but it is
Right.
a very very powerful tool, and it has been very helpful for us in creating unique images. Yeah. Oh yeah, on that note, like, when you have these four images, you can actually generate more of that. So for example, if you're not happy with these, you can always generate more and more. So
Mm,
yeah, so that's
got
how
it.
we use it.
All right, lovely. This is fire. I mean, again, like, both the calls that we've done, like where we've recorded these videos, I've learned more about design because design is not something I've gone too deep into. But no, thank you. I hope everyone. Thank you, Pwek. First and foremost, thank you so much for your time and you taking the time out of your day to record this here with me and just dropping some value. So I hope everyone got value out of this video, guys. Let us know in the comment section what you'd like to hear about specifically on design. Maybe developing hero images, maybe how we're crafting emails from start to finish, whether it's creative, like, pieces, whatever it is. I'd love to hear from everyone what you guys would like to see more of what me and Pwek when we hop on these calls. And we'll end it there. Thank you so much, Pwek.
No problem. Happy to be here, and thanks for having me.